Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, a really interesting fight has been added to the boxing schedule. It is set for the 25th of March, that fight being David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. And of course this fight will be for the WBC interim title at £168. And yeah, the winner of this fight is in a really good position to fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, I've been anticipating this announcement, this official announcement, for quite some time. It was said that this fight was done quite some time ago, several weeks ago, but PBC have the tendency to announce a fight before it's been officially announced, if that makes sense. So I was getting a little bit skeptical on whether this fight would happen, but here we are. It's been confirmed, and as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the best fights on the schedule so far for 2023, and especially coming from a boxing fan who really enjoys watching Benavidez fight, this is the fight he needed. Caleb Plant, a top contender at 168. Of course, he's a former world champion, and without doubt, he will be Benavidez's best opponent in his career to date. There's no doubt about that. And make no mistake about it, Caleb Plant is certainly a live wire in this fight. He'll be competitive in spots at least. So yeah, it's a good fight. Two top guys in the division going at it. Both guys are top 5, and these are the sort of fights in which we want to see. Not only that, I'd imagine that the build-up to this fight is going to be very entertaining. David Benavidez is a matter-of-fact guy, but you know, he can talk some smack, straight to the point, whereas Caleb Plant is slightly more emotional. He'll have his outbursts. And yeah, I think these two in the press conferences will make for some interesting viewing, to say the least. So yeah, even from a build-up perspective, I think this fight's going to entertain. Naturally, I make Benavidez a favourite here. I've been speaking about this fight for quite some time, and my intuition has always told me that Benavidez wins this fight late due to accumulation, pressure, stamina, size, etc. But again, Caleb Plant is definitely dangerous going into this fight, especially now where he seems to be sitting down on his punches, certainly more than he was previously, and I think that's definitely good for him going into this Benavidez fight, because if Caleb Plant prances around like he usually does, yeah, that's enough to outbox the likes of Caleb Truax or Vincent Feigenboots, but I don't think that version of Caleb Plant keeps Benavidez at bay. He needs to give Benavidez something to think about. He needs to throw something back, and yeah, he'll need to sit on some of his punches to gain Benavidez's respect. So yeah, the fact that Caleb is sitting down on his punches more, in my opinion, makes this fight more interesting, and it makes it more entertaining as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I mean, people have been asking Benavidez to step up for quite some time, and here we have it. This is the fight for him. Although, in my opinion, Benavidez, yes, he's made mistakes along the way with the cocaine and also missing weight that one time. He's made mistakes, and he hasn't made it easy on himself, but I've always believed that Benavidez is willing to fight the best guys at 168. And yeah, this is his route to a potential Canelo fight. So yeah, this is the big test for David Benavidez so far in his career, and again, I think he'll come through it personally, and when he does, that will increase the pressure for a Canelo Alvarez fight. I mean, I would argue right now, when it comes to 168 for Canelo, Benavidez would generate the best business, the biggest business, and it would generate the most interest, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, if Benavidez were to beat Caleb Plant, then that would only solidify that further, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of Canelo Alvarez fanboys out there, a lot of DAZN shills who are praying that Benavidez loses this fight. for whatever reason, the thought of a David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez fight makes those guys deeply uncomfortable, to the point where, you know, these are supposed to be boxing fans, and I say that term lightly, but these guys are pushing John Ryder versus Canelo over Benavidez versus Canelo, and I find that incredibly strange. I really do. I really do. We all know what does better numbers. We all know what is the better fight. We know who gives Canelo a harder fight out of John Ryder and Benavidez. You can lie to yourself and say, oh, but the resumes. John Ryder's got a better resume. Okay, cool. I don't give a fuck what is written down on paper. I'll use my eyes. I mean, it's people like that who take things at face value, they're the reason to why we've been in such of a mess in the last 2 to 3 years. And beyond, quite frankly. I mean, yeah, who in their right mind, apart from John Ryder and his close family and friends, who in their right mind would rather see John Ryder versus Canelo in comparison to David Benavidez versus Canelo? But this is the level of boxing fan that we have on these interwebs. Paid and bought, shills, brown envelope, say what you want. But I mean, that's it. I don't give a fuck what resume says. I could care less. Benavidez gives Canelo a harder fight than John Ryder. It's a much better fight, it does bigger numbers, people are talking about that fight more. Yet again, for some reason, there are so-called boxing fans out there who would rather not see that fight. They would rather see mediocrity. They would rather see a fight in which we know the result for. But there we go, that is the state of boxing fans on the YTBC and certain uploaders. But regardless of that, I think that conversation is deaded once this fight happens, because I believe Benavidez will make the statement required to truly put his name in the hat for a Canelo Alvarez fight. I believe that is going to happen when Benavidez meets Caleb Plant. I think Plant is going to be competitive in spots, particularly early on, but I believe Benavidez grinds him down, walks him down, and eventually stops him late. And once that happens, a lot more people are going to be pushing this fight. So yeah, I'm glad this is happening. I think it's a good fight in its own right, but I think it's good for Benavidez's career. I can't lie, he has needed this sort of fight. He has. And it's his chance now to showcase his skills and what he brings to the table. He can showcase that in front of the world now in a big fight scenario. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it's a fascinating fight, I really do. I think the styles will gel for an interesting fight. I think the personalities will clash in the build-up. Yeah, I think this fight has it all. I really do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I really am. I'm sure the Canelo fanboys and the DAZN shills, they're going to be having their fingers and toes crossed that Caleb Plant pulls it off. But I don't believe he will. Time will tell though. Time will tell. We shall see. Are people like me going to be vindicated in saying that Benavidez is the best challenger at 168? I think so, personally. Anyway, we shall see. We shall see. Share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Delboy. Peace.